guys, thanks for the chance to come out and see y'all on Thursday. I wanted to show you a few numbers about your area, the neighborhood, and more specifically your house and houses like yours. The first thing that should be noted is, the market has slowed down a little bit, but the change in the median sale price is still up year over year about 6 to 7%. So that's still really good for you. Those are still really good historical numbers. The median sold price in your zip code is $430,000. So we're going to be really, really close to that, a little bit under, which is usually a good thing if we're under the market a little bit. Also, the median sold price in Legacy Park, the entire neighborhood, is $465,000. Now the average, because there's a few outliers, is $495,000. And again, obviously we want to try to get as much for your home as possible. But the good news is your house is going to be listed under both of these numbers almost certainly, which will make your home a little bit more desirable. The another piece of really good news for your zip code is, again, even though the market slowed down a bit, the median days on market in your zip code is 14 days. That's an incredibly low number historically. Wasn't not quite as crazy as it was a couple years ago during Crazy Town when I came to see y'all a couple years ago, but it's still really good. Again, average days on market is still really good, 29 days. There's a lot of outliers that are raising that number. Now, what I like to tell people is that we'll probably do pretty well with your home and sell it fairly quickly, but I like to make sure everybody understands that be prepared for a month or two, maybe even a little bit longer, because sometimes this market's a little bit weird and sometimes it's taking a little bit longer. Median days on market in Legacy Park is 7 days. It's incredibly low. Houses in that neighborhood go really quick. And again, I'm going to show you for houses like yours, they go even quicker. And the average is 26 days. People are still getting in your zip code 100% of their asking price on average. Some people are getting more, some people are getting below. But, people are still getting pretty close to what they asked for if they priced the home correctly. Now, on the flip side of that, some of the bad news about the market is that 20% of all listings fail because, and it's almost always because people put them out there too high. They list the house for too much. What I also want to show you is the relationship between a price reduction and what you end up getting. It's very important for us to price your home correctly. And when I say that, I don't mean that we need to give it away, sell it for way under market, but we need to price it right, not too high, not too low. If you end up having to have a sales price reduction, you end up getting 91% of the original list, whereas if you don't have to reduce it at all, you get 100%, which is, again, speaks to the effort we need to make to price it correctly. And also that affects days on market, particularly in somebody that's in your position where you're trying to basically find the next house first. You're going to be on the market 80 days if you have to reduce the price. Whereas if you price it correctly the first time, this is the entire metro Atlanta area, by the way, but so the numbers are a little bit broader, but it's going to be on the market 9 days as opposed to 80. So again, it speaks to the importance of trying to price it correctly. Now let me take a quick second and show you some more numbers, a little bit more micro to your neighborhood. I pulled a bunch of comparables. These are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, roughly the same square footage as yours. Okay, I'll email these to you as well. But you can see here the ones highlighted in blue are very similar to your home, where the bedrooms are upstairs. Here, I'll show you a few more. Not this one, but here's another one and another, so on and so on. Here's one that's pretty similar to yours, just laid out a little bit different. You can see here. These are very similar homes. They may have a little bit different finishes, but these are good homes. These are good comparable homes. And again, I'll show you these. Now I want to show you the stats with all these. If you'll take a look here, and I'll pull this up, and hopefully you can see it. This is why I suggest you watch it on a desktop. But the average sale price and the median sale price of those homes is about $405,000. Okay. Now yours is a little bit bigger. The average here is right at 2,100 square feet, right at about $196 a foot. Okay. Now the average days on market, the median days on market for these is 7. Average is 21. You had all the way from 80 days to 2 days. Okay. So, good listing price is probably going to be, I would say, somewhere between 400 and 415, all depending on what I see on Thursday when I come see y'all. I don't think there are any problems with it other than maybe just the roof is a little aged, and I can get some more details from you there. But that's roughly where we should probably be. Now, if we'll take a look here, let me go back to my Word document here. One other thing to keep in mind, and I'll come back to all this. Bear with me, bear with me. I'm sorry, y'all. I am very sorry. Bear with me just a second. Forgive the delay. Automated valuations. I want to just show you this because people, I don't think these numbers are always accurate, but people do look at them. And the one that the consumer looks at the most is the Zillow's estimate, or a Z estimate. They've got you right at $415,000. For once, I believe the Zillow estimate is just about right. Now, there are a couple different ones that we realtors subscribe to, that we pay to subscribe to. These are bigger, better estimates for professionals. The AVM has you at 414. United Wholesale Mortgages, which is the biggest lender in the country, has you at 437. I believe that number is just a little bit high. So I think we're somewhere, in the 400 to 425 range, probably right around here. One other thing I like to point out is that tax records are not an indication of value at all. Tax records are oftentimes very arbitrary numbers. A lot of people will come to me, hey, my tax value is at 450. I'm like, well, nobody really uses that, unfortunately, other than the government. And then finally, as far as whoever buys your property, whoever buys your house is probably going to borrow money to do that, in which case they're going to have their own appraisal. And what happens a lot of times is there'll be houses in the neighborhood that are listed at the time or just went up that you might reach out to me and say, hey, Johnny, make sure the appraiser knows that this house was listed or is even under contract at 450, for example. The appraiser cannot use anything that hasn't sold yet. So I just want you to know that. So you may have a house in your neighborhood that goes up for sale at 450 where we're at 425, and it goes under contract, and we won't know that number, but you'll say, hey, Johnny, I want you to send that to the appraiser. I want you to know that he can't or she can't use anything that's not a sold property for a comparable. So there's that. Now, as far as what I do to get houses sold, I want to talk to you a little bit about that. My marketing plan is very simple. I've been doing this a long time, and I figured out what works and what doesn't work. I'm going to pay Rhonda, if you'll allow me to, I'm going to pay my stager Rhonda to come over and help stage your home with the stuff you already have inside the house. Your furniture, your trinkets, and so on. And let her help you rearrange the home that's going to give it the best possible light. Now, she's not going to bring her own furniture in and stage it, but what she will do is tell you where to move furniture, where to move trinkets, where to declutter, where to take things off the walls, where to put stuff. And she'll also give you some advice about what things that you can do as far as maybe some updating. Now, you don't have to do those things. She might suggest you paint. She might suggest you do this and that. Some things that cost money. You don't have to do those. But I do suggest if she comes over and tells you to declutter a room a certain way, I would do everything she says. She's an interior designer. She sells furniture, and she was also my broker at Keller Williams, and she really knows what she's talking about. So I'll pay for that out of pocket right away. Also, I pay for professional photography. That's the cornerstone of everything we do in real estate. They say that a buyer will make a decision within the first few seconds of looking at pictures of your home. So let me just show you what that looks like real quick. This is a house I just listed over in Ackworth. We sold it very quickly. These photos, and by the way, you'll get your own website like this too. I don't think that matters that much, but the most important part is the photography. These guys do a fantastic job. They come out, they'll photograph your home, and you'll see this is one of those homes that was also staged by my stager. She went in and told these guys exactly what to do. If you'll take a look here, they did the house real nice here, cleaned it up really nice, decluttered it, and so on. But these are the photos that I pay for. And again, they're at the corner of every. They're the most important thing I do, probably. I'll do a pre-listing appraisal. I'll be honest, with the comparables that I've seen, we may not need it. I think we've got plenty of comparables, but if we feel that we need to do a pre-listing appraisal, I'll pay for that as well. Now, also, I do all the internet optimization that anybody does. I'll post it on FMLS and Georgia MLS. That will then shoot it out to, excuse me, pardon me, had to sneeze. Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor, all those websites. It goes out to hundreds of them. So your home will be fully optimized via the internet. Now, one thing, it's going to sound silly, but one thing that I will do with you guys and with anybody who's interested in seeing the property is I will return calls and answer the phone. I can't make you understand how rare that is today. And nothing will get a buyer more frustrated than when their agent reaches out to me, wants to see the property, has questions about it, wants to work with me to try to get the house under contract. The buyers will get quickly discouraged if that agent doesn't call them back, and I promise to never do that. I hope I've proven to you over the last weeks and years that I return phone calls, I get back with people quickly. And this and the reverse prospecting, this is kind of that, look, I do all the internet optimization, all that stuff is important, but it's kind of that old-fashioned word-of-mouth, person-to-person salesmanship that is needed in today's market. And it's very rare that it gets done today. I know that, and David can attest to it from being on both sides of transactions. People just don't return phone calls, and I'll be sure and do that. Reverse prospecting, I'll reach out. FMLS has a feature to where I can reach out to the agents of people who are looking for homes like yours. All those people get a phone call from me. They get an individual text from me and an individual email from me asking them to come out and view your property. Now, this may not seem like much, and the calls are, I usually end up calling between 10 and 20 agents to do this, but if I know that they've got a buyer who is favored to your property, sometimes all I need is one extra family in that house to really drive the price of your house up. Sometimes if I can get a multiple offer situation, we can get a lot more than we expected. And this is just something that's not done today. Hardly anybody does this, and this is really what helps you not only get the house sold, but also helps, if we can, to drive the price up. I'll also market it within my office. I have over 300 agents in my Atlanta community office. I've sold several this way. I'm going to put a huge yard sign out. I'll put a warranty on the home that covers things like the dishwasher and the stove. That way you can kind of be worry-free throughout the listing process. And of course, I'll keep up with you on a daily and a weekly basis so you can see what's going on in the market, what's going on in the neighborhood, and so on. Now, on the flip side of that, some things that I don't do that don't matter. I've been doing this almost 20 years now, and I've seen the things that work. I've seen the things that don't work. So the first one is the open houses. A lot of times that gives the seller a warm fuzzy. They think that their agent's going the extra mile. All those open houses are designed to do is for people like me and David to get buyer and seller leads. Statistic, and they've studied this. The National Association of Realtors has studied this. Open houses do not contribute in any way to the sale of a home, and we just don't do them anymore. Number one, you don't want anybody in your house unsupervised. I've had buyers come in with their kids and their dogs, and that's where a lot of people, they'll go to steal things out of the house because they're unsupervised, because I have to stay at the front of the house for safety reasons. So anyway, I just don't do those. I used to do all these things: the Facebook ads, the just listed mailers, the newspaper ads, Craigslist ads, all that stuff. I used to do all that stuff. I spent a lot of money doing it. None of that stuff sells houses, so I don't do those anymore. And in exchange for that, I list your house at a discount, and I'll speak to that in just a second. Some other things that don't really work, the home books, the nice flyers that are sitting on the kitchen table. Again, none of that stuff really works. All that stuff is available online. I can get that to anybody with the click of a button. And then finally, I promise not to show your home to unqualified buyers, people who call from the sign. A lot of times they'll call, they say, "Hey, Johnny, we saw this house for sale. What's the price?" I'll tell them. They say, "Well, when can we see the property?" I'll be like, "Oh, I'll be glad to show it to you anytime. Just send over your proof of funds letter or your mortgage pre-approval." And then I never hear from them again. It almost never, in fact, it's never happened before. I think I've sold one house through a sign call one time. And And last thing you want anyway is for me to take somebody into your house that we don't know, that isn't qualified, then hit me over the head and then steal half your stuff. That kind of stuff happens all the time. And the bottom line, even if that doesn't happen, these people aren't serious buyers. The people who are serious, they get in touch with their agent like you guys did. They start looking, and that's how the house gets sold. Now, I also handle all. I mentioned to you that I would give you a discount. It's a full service listing still, so I'm not doing it at a discount because I'm offering less service. It's a full service listing. I'm just doing it because I've known y'all so long. So I also handle all the post marketing contact services. It's a full service listing. I handle all the aspects of the sale. They're not listed. They're not limited to just the listing and marketing that I've talked about. It includes things like all the paperwork. I deal exclusively with the buyer and the buyer's agent. I schedule everything: the inspections, the appraisal. I handle the inspector. I handle all the issues with the attorney. I handle all the issues with the paperwork and the negotiations. It's a full front to back, from contract to close listing. My office hours are very long. I make myself available about 70 hours a week. I get going early in the morning. I work pretty late. I work past 8 if you need to talk to me or if I know an offer's coming in. But in general, these are my office hours. And even though I'm out of the office on Sunday, if I know an offer's coming in, I'm not going to ignore it. I'll certainly work on Sundays. I usually just work from the house on Sunday. And if you need me on Sunday, feel free to call. But these are my office hours. The commission, I charge. A lot of people are going to charge you 6%. I'm going to do a discount list of 5.5%. That is a discount list from what most people will charge you. Now, so you know, 3% of that goes to the buyer side, the buyer's agent, for bringing us a buyer. So I don't, even though I offer a discount, I do not discount the buyer's agent's commission at all. We want to make that number as high as possible so we can intrigue an agent to come and show your house. Now, and so 2.5% of that comes to Atlanta Communities. And then by the time I split it up with Atlanta Communities, my brokerage, FMLS, and pay for the photography, pay for the appraisal, and so on, about 1.5 of that comes to me. So I like to display that just because I want you to know that 5.5% doesn't all come to me. I give a big majority of it away. 3% to the buyer side, 2.5 to the comes to my side, and then I get about 1.5 of it. And so there, and this is going to end up being about a $2,000 discount to y'all. We already went over this and this. Things to do before you list. I'm not going to go into this too much in this video. We can talk more about this, but Rhonda, when she comes to help you stage, but you get the biggest bang for your buck. I'll just say this: from deep cleaning, which is basically free, depersonalizing all your trinkets, and decluttering the house. You want the house to look as close to a model house as possible. And then some other miscellaneous stuff that Rhonda will go over. By the way, she'll come over, she'll tell you what to do, and she'll write up a detailed report for you, and then we'll be good. So anyway, I hope this answered a lot of your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on Thursday. If you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out anytime. Talk to you soon.